Alright boys, what's up? It's Joe here. We're going to try recording this on the GoPro to make it a little easier on Jake, hopefully. See how it goes for week 2. But this is just the week 2 recap of the Training for a Marathon series. We're going to start off with a little bit of week recap. So we did our first 5K, or I guess technically our second one. The first one was a little different though. Did that in roughly 45 minutes, and then there's a little bit of extra time. That was on day 3 of week 2, so 45 minutes is the current time for that. Hopefully we'll get it down next week. We're slowly getting our mile down. We're working on the calf issues. Turns out when you stretch, your calf loosens up quite a bit. So I'm getting some better ankle mobility, getting a lot better muscle stretching in, making sure to do some longer walks on the way to start the run, just to make sure I'm not just jumping right in there and causing more damage than I am good. So all in all, a lot of improvement from the last week. Felt pretty good to be able to, keep moving without consistent pain. Still haven't been able to completely run a mile, which kind of builds up into next week. The things that I want to continue to work on is just continuing to get those calves stretched out and loose and ready to go. Alternatively with that, other than just keeping everything loose and limber, I want to continue to work on pace setting. Right now I'm struggling pretty hard with wanting to go from point A to point B as fast as possible, which, I mean, at the end of the day, that is kind of the goal, but I can't quite go as fast on my legs as the rest of my system and my mind is kind of wanting me to. So, and then I have the overall, I could just run a mile in 8 minutes flat or less. I can't really do that right now. We're working on it though. Hopefully in a couple weeks we'll be there. But in the time being, this coming week, I'm hoping to get like a sub 12-minute mile without, too much pain and too much struggle. And we'll also be doing our first 10K, so we'll see how that goes. I have no expectations for completing like a time gate. I'm just focusing on being able to complete it in general, to be honest, without having to give up and quit halfway through or anything like that. Just want to be able to finish it to start, and then we'll continue to work on that. Later towards the end of this week as well, the program is going to shift a little bit to, I think the final run on Friday is going to be a big emphasis on pace setting and just, running a mile slower, and then the next mile is going to be pretty quick and continue to develop that. Otherwise, things are pretty good. So the big notes there is 10K is pretty exciting. It'll be my first one in entirety of my life that I can remember, to be honest. So we'll see how that goes. That being said, we're also getting a new training program starting on week 3. Did a little bit of recovery focused this past week to make sure my calves and my legs were just healthy, my joints were healthy and not overstressed. Toning down the gym just a little bit to make sure I don't overdo the legs and make sure that my body has enough time to recover consistently, making sure I at least continue to have one full day off completely with no running, no working out, etc. We're gonna be doing a different kind of split. In the last episode I kind of hinted at I usually do a 3-day, well, it's technically a 6-day, but a split of push-pull legs and do that 6 times do it twice a week, so 6 days a week. Just going to be doing upper lower days now, 2 times a week, so 4 days a week. Marco was able to kind of build that up for me and kind of show me that. I'll hopefully remember to send Jake a screenshot of the program, so if you guys are interested in seeing that, you can see that here. Otherwise, we'll make sure to put Marco's Instagram down in the description. You guys can go message him if you have specific questions about training and whatnot, because that dude is awesome. He's my personal trainer, and he's helped me out a ton with staying healthy, kind of returning to that health that I used to remember, and kind of get me set up properly to train for this in a very good way. Kind of teaching me a little bit about balancing the running aspect of it with wanting to stay involved in the gym and continuing to lift, because I predominantly like to weight lift instead of run. So kind of helping me balance that out so it continues to stay enjoyable and I don't get burned out on anything. But yeah, otherwise, this one's going to be a little more brief to the point. Probably going to be a more consistent format like this unless something crazy happens. So we'll hopefully going forward be able to show you the numbers on the screen where my first 5K went pretty well. My mile time was about 12:30, and hopefully next week we can get those down to honestly, I'd like to get a sub 40-minute 5K, which it's about an hour and a half 10K, so we'll see how that goes. And I'd like to start pushing to get closer to 10-minute miles again, just really get there. Not necessarily as fast as possible, but as quickly as possible, given reasonable goals. So that being said, we're also gonna hopefully be able to track my weight and kind of see, does my weight drop over the next 26 weeks or 6 months or however long it's going to be while I'm focused on cardio, or do I continue to see improvements in the gym as well, or kind of what that balance looks like. But for now, we'll just see basic workouts, and next week we'll see day 1 of the new training and the weights that I'm pushing, and we'll go from there. But otherwise, appreciate you boys. Thanks for watching, thanks for following and supporting. This is a pretty challenging thing for me to do, so it's kind of cool to have people kind of watch it and reach out to me in DMs and say good things about it, hype me up about it, and hopefully it goes well and I stay healthy. If you have any questions or comments, just let me know down below, and we'll answer them as quick as possible and make sure that you guys are staying in the loop. But appreciate it, boys. Peace out.